Hello everyone, welcome back to Exploring the Coast with Hannah. On this week's episode, we're going to be looking at the Black Oystercatcher. Let's go. The distribution of black oystercatchers goes from Alaska all the way down to Baja, California. Oystercatchers inhabit marine shorelines, favoring rocky shorelines. They make their nest above the high tide line on offshore rocks, rocky shores, and sand or gravel beaches. Their lifespan is about 15 years, and their size range is from about 15 to 19 inches in length. Black oystercatchers are also a non-migratory bird. There's also another species of oystercatcher here in the United States, and that is the American oystercatcher. They are mainly found on the Atlantic coast and Gulf of Mexico. Their habitats consist of barrier islands, beaches, salt marshes, and shellfish reefs. So what do black oystercatchers eat? Well, they feed on a variety of intertidal invertebrates, including mussels, limpets, chitons, crabs, barnacles, snails, and other small animals. They use their specialized bills to pry or jab open food. Fun fact, even though they are called oystercatchers, they rarely eat oysters. The black oystercatcher is federally listed as a species of concern. It is estimated that their global population is approximately 10,000 breeding birds. It rates the species a 15 out of 20 on the Continental Concern Score and includes it on the yellow watch list for species with restricted ranges. Black oystercatchers are highly vulnerable to natural and human disturbances. Major threats include predation of eggs and young by native and non-native predators like raptors, foxes, gulls, and raccoons. Coastal development also contributes to the decline in black oystercatcher populations due to construction, increased human traffic, cars, pollution, which also all contribute to habitat loss. Human disturbance is one of the highest factors that contribute to the decline of black oystercatcher populations. This is caused by people who are engaging in activity and recreation along the coast. This causes disturbances from nesting sites through climbing on rocks and areas where nesting occurs. It also includes the disturbance from dogs, drones, boating, and the attraction of increased predator populations due to litter. Shoreline contamination such as oil spills have played a major role in the decrease of black oystercatcher populations, like the Exxon Valdez oil spill that occurred in Alaska in 1989. Black oystercatchers are monogamous, returning to the same nesting territories to pair with the same mate each year. Females can have 1 to 4 eggs per clutch in a breeding season. The color of the eggs tend to be a pale buff to olive color and are spotted and scrawled with brown and black. The incubation period for the eggs is typically around 24 to 29 days. The typical nest bowl is a small depression in the sediment containing rock flakes, pebbles, and shell fragments. Both adults incubate the eggs, and here's a video taken by one of our black oystercatcher monitoring volunteers showing the parents switching out taking turns. Here is a newly hatched chick next to an unhatched egg. How cute is that? Young remain near the nest at first. Parents take turns guarding the young and going to get food for them, walking back and forth to the nearby rocky intertidal. Adults feed their young and teach them foraging techniques for several months after the young have fledged. Young will typically fledge around 5 weeks or older. Since black oystercatchers, as we have learned, are highly vulnerable to natural and human disturbances, it makes them an indicator species in the assessment of the overall health of the rocky intertidal community. The Pacific Grove Museum of Natural History is a contributing partner to the California Central Coast Black Oystercatcher Monitoring Project. The monitoring project recruits community science volunteers to assist in the collection and timely reporting of observational data from March through September. The project is coordinated by Audubon, California, in partnership with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and in conjunction with the U.S. Bureau of Land Management's California Coastal National Monument. This project also includes collaboration with California state parks. Here's a map that shows the different sites where community science volunteers monitor black oystercatcher populations and their nests. If you would like more information regarding the Black Oystercatcher Monitoring Project or would like to become a volunteer monitor yourself, please check out these two sites for more information. Thanks so much for joining me today. The next video of Exploring the Coast with Hannah drops Tuesday, September 1st at 11 a.m. on the Pacific Grove Museum of Natural History's Museum to You page.